Hello, this is Jeff Badger, the Grinding Doc, and today we're going to talk about one type of chatter. There are a million types of chatter, I know. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. We're going to talk about one type of chatter. Maybe you got this type of chatter, maybe you don't. Maybe you're confusing it with other types of chatter. Things get messy when it comes to chatter, and this is called snakeskin chatter. Not fish scale chatter, that's a different animal. We're going to talk about snakeskin chatter and just what is the fundamental cause of snakeskin chatter. And what is the fundamental solution? There are a couple solutions, but there's one pretty straightforward solution. But half the battle is knowing what type of chatter you have. Okay, and that's not always easy. But we're going to take a look at what is snakeskin chatter. The most obvious solution, but there are several solutions. Then we'll look at the most obvious solution. So here we have some pages from the Book of Grinding. And we're going to talk fundamentally about what is snakeskin chatter. One type of chatter of many. So snakeskin chatter, not to be confused with fish scale chatter, not to be confused with other types of chatter. I've seen it called wheel modeled chatter. I sometimes call it chunky ware chatter. And it's just a certain type of chatter. And we're going to talk about what that type of chatter is. Now, it would be nice if as we ground away, our wheel wore evenly all the way around the circumference. So it would be nice if we ground for a few minutes and the wheel wear here was 5 microns, 2/10,000ths of an inch, 5 microns, 5 microns, 2/10,000ths of an inch, 5 microns, 5 microns, 5 microns, 5 microns. That would be nice, but it doesn't work that way. Some parts of the wheel are a little softer, some are a little harder, some have more bond material, some have less. Some for a split second got a little more coolant, some for a split second had a deeper depth of cut, a bunch of factors, but what it means is wheel wear is not even all the way around. So if wheel wear is not even all the way around, what's going to happen? We're going to get intermittent contact. And what's going to happen then is, as we get to this part of the wheel, we're not removing any material because we've worn away, or we're removing less material, or the grip penetration depth is smaller. So what's going to happen? That's going to cause even greater wear on these entrance areas. And then it's going to cause even greater wear. So now I got a wheel that's not round. It's kind of funky shaped. And when it's funky shaped, maybe it looks something like this. Now I've exaggerated these gaps. Obviously, they're not nearly that big, but there they are. So now what's happening with this wheel? Well, this wheel is going dang, 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 da da dang, dang, da da dang, dang, da da dang, dang, da da dang, dang, as the wheel traverses across the workpiece. So we've got da-da-dank, dank, da-da-dank, dank, da-da-dank, dank. Kind of like going to a nightclub in the 1980s, listening to some techno, da-da-dank, dank, da-da-dank, dank. And when we get that, what do we get on our workpiece? Da-da-dank, dank, da-da-dank, dank, da-da-dank, dank, da-da-dank, dank. And we get a funky shape on our workpiece, funky pattern. However, it doesn't work this way entirely. Why? Because on a different part of the wheel, maybe down here, further over on the width, that we have a different wear pattern, because there's nothing to say that that wear pattern along the entire width of the wheel has to be the same all the way down. It's going to be different. So what's going to happen over here is we've got da-da-dank, dank, da-da-dank, dank. But a little bit over here, we've got dank, 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 and we get this pattern. And a little bit further over, we've just got dank, 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 and we get this pattern. And over here, we get this pattern. Dank, 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 and we get this pattern. And then over here, we get this. Dank, 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 and then over here, we get some other funky pattern. And you get some kind of weird pattern on the workpiece. And you can tell some clues about whether or not you have snakeskin chatter are this. Number one, are the chatter marks evenly spaced? If they're not, that points to snakeskin chatter. If they are, that points to some other type of chatter. And are they the same along the entire width of the workpiece? If they are not the same, then that points to snakeskin chatter. If they are, let's go back to this one, then maybe it's not snakeskin chatter. But now we got to be careful, because what if we have crossfeed in surface grinding, or what if we have traverse in cylindrical, Well, now we're hitting at different points, and we got to be careful because sometimes the other types of chatter can look like snakeskin chatter. So we got to be careful about what's going on here. Now, I wish I had some better pictures of snakeskin chatter, but I don't. So here's a typical profile, theoretically, of what it might look like. Weird waves, dunk, 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 over here, dunk, 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 over here. And you just get a funky type of pattern on your workpiece. Here's a picture from an article back in 1982. It's the only good one I have, really. Kind of shows what they called the wheel model chatter from our friends Han and Lindsay, two very smart guys. One of them passed away at the age of 100 recently in Kenner Batea's book. And we get this funky pattern on the workpiece. Okay, and it's different. Here's a bearing race where they claim, hey, we got pattern number 1 over here, pattern number 2 over here. They're different. Okay, you can kind of map these things out, get a marker, kind of draw where the chatter mark's occurring, and try to figure out, are you getting chunky wear chatter, is what I call snakeskin chatter, or snakeskin chatter, both names are fine, and try to figure out what's going on. Now, what's the solution? Dress the wheel. Dress the wheel, snakeskin chatter goes away. If you dress the wheel and your chatter doesn't go away, you probably don't have snakeskin chatter, okay? Because what that does is it makes the wheel round again. Again, we just want to make the wheel round, get rid of the chunky wear pattern that's going on, okay? So that's one type of chatter. Half the battle in chatter is figuring out what type of chatter you have. And this explains the fundamental mechanisms, the fundamental causal mechanisms of snakeskin chatter. You can mess around with solutions of making your wheel harder, making your wheel softer, trying to get the wear more consistent. Maybe you can pull it off, maybe you can't. The easy solution is just dress your wheel. Dress your wheel, the problem goes away. So that is an explanation of snakeskin chatter. All these slides are given in the Book of Grinding. If you need to get a copy during my 3-day grinding course, you will get a copy of the Book of Grinding, or check out the videos, or take one of my grinding courses, 3-day high intensity grinding course. You get a copy of the Book of Grinding, and we talk about snakeskin chatter.